So today we're going to take a look at how GE managed the economy in an interesting way in their game against T1. So what we're looking at here is round 3 of T1 versus GE here on Lotus, and what's happened so far is that GE lost the pistol, of course, and then they actually forced in the second round, right? And they lost that as well. So they forced second round, they lost, so now they have to go on kind of a save, and this is what they decided to do. They did decide to save, and as you might have just seen there, we're at 0-0-0 on the clock. So the round is about to start, and this is what Global Esports have bought. And you might notice they haven't bought anything, right? All 5 players have classics. All 5 players have no shields. Okay, some players have bought, their utility essentially. But, basically, we're going into this round with absolutely nothing. And you might be like, well, yeah, it's a save. Obviously, they're going into it with nothing. But actually, that's not quite how this works, because normally what you would see in this round is you would see, stingers maybe, or, a marshal or sheriff, something like that, maybe light shields on some, right? That kind of thing would be quite normal, because the thing is, if they lose this round, have their maximum loss bonus, right? They will lose the 3rd round, and therefore, each of these players would get 2,900 credits if they lose this round. Right? Which means that if you start adding up this to the numbers, you'll realize, like, okay, this means that you would have 5,800. That means that you would have 5,400. It means that you would have 5,950. We got 5,850 here and 5,100 here as well at the bottom. So, that's more than enough to buy. Like, that's more than enough credits, and that's assuming you get no kills, you don't plant the spike, anything, right? That's like the minimum you could have from this round. And that brings up the question, why would they do this? Well, I think the point of this is, if we take a look at the next round, so beginning of round 4 here, it's 3-0 now to T1. T1 did win that round, and so GE did lose, obviously, with their pistols. What they now have, GE, is this, where, again, they're still, getting the max loss bonus if they lose this next round, right? 2,900, and that is the minimum they can get, right? And if you start looking at these numbers again, our lowest here is this breach with 1,100. You add that to it, and our breach would still have 4,000 credits, right? And 4,000 is still enough to buy for the round after this, even if they lose. Because normally what happens in these Valorant games is this an example from Zeta versus DRX, where Zeta, go on a massive losing streak and DRX just keep winning, and it goes, we buy, we save, we buy, we save, right? And you just kind of end up in that kind of endless loop of buying and then saving. So instead, GE's idea here, of course, is that they, like they did actually on the first map of this game, they lose a round and they buy literally nothing, right? There's nothing coming into this round, and that means that even though they lose these 2 rounds as well, they can still buy fully twice. So instead of going, save and then buy and then save and then buy, instead it's save and we can go buy, and then even if we lose, we can buy again. Now, the obvious question is this a good idea? Well, of course, in the round where you don't buy anything, which in this case would be round 3 here for GE, and they only have classics, right? Of course, you're almost never going to win this round, right? A miracle would have to happen to win this round. Whereas if you did go for, a couple stingers, maybe a Spectre or something, maybe you have a slight chance, right? Maybe you could get a kill, or, if you have like a hero rifle or something, you've got a chance, right? Even sheriffs, you have a chance to win the round. But with classics, really not so much, right? So you're pretty much forfeiting a round, okay? But then, of course, in the next round and the round after that, even if you keep losing, you give yourself a better chance to win those next 2 rounds and, kind of start to build momentum and maybe try and get back into the game. So, is that a good idea? Well, I don't know. I don't know if this is correct or not. You can definitely see the logic behind it, and I think it does make some sense, right? Like, if you don't think, you've got a very good chance of winning with stingers or whatever versus, a full buy on a certain side, on a certain map, right? Maybe on certain sides, certain maps, it makes sense. Maybe you need rifles more than you think, stingers and specters will be able to do it for you, right? I don't know. That seems like a plausible possibility at the very least. So it potentially is correct in certain circumstances. You see, actually, they do get the spike down and get a kill in this round as well here, do GE. So, this round actually wasn't terrible for them from an economic standpoint either. But I do think that this was quite interesting, and I'd be interested to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think that this is something that, more teams should be doing? Have GE found something out that's quite interesting? Or do you think that, no, you should just buy Sheriff, should buy Stinger, should buy whatever Spectres, and try and win every round that you can?